AVP folks? I am back with another banger! Listen to me, we're talking today about a very interesting subject. Electric aircraft, let's dive into it. Fully electric airplanes, aircraft are here. Yeah, glorious times to live in. In this video, I'm gonna address certain aspects of electric vehicles that I think people ought to know about. First of all, we need to know why electric airplanes are essential, or electric aircraft are essential. All right, so the why behind this electric aircraft. Let me give you guys some perspective. See these right here? These are the numbers that are a good indicator of how much dirty the, just the entire aviation industry as a whole is. I mean, the aviation industry alone contributes about 2% to the world's carbon footprint, you guys, and 12% within just the transportation industry. Those numbers are really mind-boggling. I mean, 2% is a lot. Anyways, they are essential because the aviation industry is really one of the dirtiest industries out there, and we need to bring those carbon levels down. Essentially, the Earth is absorbing way more carbon than it can release these days, which means that there's this excess carbon that's like sitting around the atmosphere, and it's eating up our atmosphere, in fact. Not just that, they're also changing varying temperatures around the world, which then cause a lot of instability, as you may imagine. We got varying temperatures here, there. There's just a lot of instability that climate change introduces, which is a result of human activity releasing harmful gaseous emissions onto the atmosphere. The next thing to understand is, where are they right now, right? At what development stage are these EAs, or electric aircraft, at, right? So to fully understand this, let me first break down how they work, right? Electric aircraft pretty much work the same way as electric vehicles or electric cars. Okay, so at the moment, we haven't really electrified commercial flight yet. We're still electrifying, sort of like private flying, like those one-seater, two-seater, Pipistrel aircraft, or Piper Cherokee aircraft, your Cessnas, what have you. We haven't really electrified the commercial side of things, because those have a much, like, those engines are power hungry, because, you're taking off like 100 people, man. I mean, come on. Of course the thing's going to be power hungry. I mean, we're talking very, very high power ratios there compared to just a two-seater aircraft, or just like, with the maximum takeoff weight of about, 190 kilograms or something like that. Oh, well, inclusive of the airplane, we're looking at 800 kilograms maximum takeoff weight. You could easily achieve that with the current motors available in the market. But when we're talking about the energy density, right, which is a different factor from power to weight, well, it is related to power to weight ratio. Now, the reason why we have, these smaller aircraft being electrified and not the bigger ones is simply because of the energy density that that their kerosene counterparts have over them, right? So at the end of the day, you find kerosene, or aviation fuel, is way more energy dense compared to just your standard motor up there. Frankly, there is one electric aircraft of note. That's right, electric aircraft of note that really caught my attention. I looked at it and was like, oh boy. Now that's something I want to ride in one day. Time will tell. Yes, it is the ongoing Right Spirit project. The Right Spirit project, ongoing project, is essentially, ran by a company called Ride Electric. It's designed and meant to carry 100 people or 100 passengers in one given time, or in a single flight. And essentially it's based on the BAE regional aircraft, sort of like a kind of design. The Ride Electric company is planning on having one of the engines run by their motors. So they're planning on actually having one of the engines without, fuel lines feeding into it, and essentially just having an entire fully on Ride Electric motor running that sucker. And what they'll do is, they want to test out the limits of that motor and so forth, and they're going to fly the airplane. They're actually going to get people in there and actually fly the aircraft. Then they're going to move on to the next phase of their project and implement the second motor on the other engine on the other wing. Until all four motors are incorporated onto the four different engines, powering up the four different engines essentially. Yeah, sounds too good to be true. By 2027. Well, look, this is essentially the plan, guys. I'm not sure if it's gonna work or not. I'm as curious as you guys here. Now you might be asking yourself, 100 passengers, like, this is unheard of. It is unheard of indeed. And I'm curious to see how. I'm curious to get the actual numbers on the energy density and the power to weight ratio of these motors. Like, what's so different about their motors is that, like, because like standard motors cannot do that. Like 100 people, guys, ride electric. Please include me in your projects. I want to learn from you guys. How do you do it? How are you so sure this is even gonna work? I would love to be a part of this exciting project. Seriously, I need to start submitting my resume at Ride Electric. So moving on to the specifications of this aircraft here, they are speculating that it will have a range of about 460 miles, which is about that many kilometers. And the range is also gonna be about like an hour long in the air. Now you see, this is the other thing about electric aircraft. In the future, they aren't gonna be for intercontinental traveling. They're probably gonna be just from one city to the next, you know? They're not gonna be used for, at least in the next, you know, in the next 100 years. I don't know, maybe in the next 50 years. In the next 50 years, electric aircraft will still not be good enough to fly from, you know, South Africa to New York. Okay, it's just not gonna happen. I'm sorry. Or New York back to South Africa. It just can't happen. I'm sorry. An electric airplane? I'd be happy to reject my own hypothesis here, if you know, if you can prove me wrong in this. I'm sorry, but I just don't see that happening. Not anytime soon. All right, let's talk about now the bad side of electric airplanes, or the current issues that they have. So just like electric cars, they also have this range or distance problem in which they can travel at a given certain power. And you also have to worry about things such as energy dissipation rates, which are how quickly the motor gives off the energy once, you know, it's running and stuff like that, and how much of that it could, you know, regenerate back into the car or into the airplane in this case. The other big issue about this is obviously it's going to be darn expensive. Yeah, okay, this is not going to be, listen to me. These electric airplanes that are going to come in the next 10 years, they're not going to be for your lower class, nor are they for the middle class, nor are they for the upper class. Let me highlight that. Upper class kids, not going to be for you, boo-boos, okay? This is going to be for the elite of the elite, okay? I'm talking the creme de la creme, okay, of society. The elite folks will be flying on these aircraft. They are going to be darn expensive, especially the Wright electric aircraft. I mean, I'm just imagining how much they're going to charge for that motor. How much, like, and I understand, you know, there's a lot of labor that goes into manufacturing and building a new motor that's never been seen, unheard of, unprecedented. It's going to be, yeah, it's going to be darn expensive flying on these you know, electric aircraft in the future. I was talking about Tesla not too long ago, and driving that car in South Africa is going to be way much cheaper than you getting an hour of flight time on one of these electric airplanes in the future. Sorry, it's just much more cost effective. Just buy an electric car. Just buy an electric car, stick with that. Be on the road. Either way, you're flying from one city to the next. Sorry, what's the point of getting an electric aircraft? There is none. Just invest your money onto an actual electric car. Just stick with that, buy that. The last downside about this electric aircraft is that you have to sell your aircraft to a certain airline. Look, airlines are going to be like, hey man, look, this got me scratching my head about the whole thing. Like, how's it even going to work? It's a tough one. I'm asking myself, like, if you got American Airlines over here, or South African Airways, or Airlink, or FlySafe Air, they're going to look at you, man. They're going to go, hey kid, I see what you're trying to do, man, but how many of these people in South Africa are you really targeting? But as I said, these electric aircraft aren't for everybody. All right, they just aren't. I'm sorry, they're for the elite. We're talking the rich of the rich, the millionaires of the country, you know, the rich kids, the rich snobs, you know, your artists, your musicians, the rich guys, essentially, okay? The middle class, upper class, lower class, we're wiping you off the screen, okay? Just forget about it. You're not gonna fly on these. I'm sorry. Last thing I want to talk about is upcoming developments and upcoming aircraft. Yeah, I'm just gonna show you guys a bit of just some pictures of upcoming aircraft here, electric aircraft that we're gonna be seeing in the future. These are all the different kind of concepts that we're going to be seeing in our skies, and these are just some of the things that really super get me excited about electric airplanes in the future and how they're going to be incorporated. I mean, we've got like different companies, Pipistrel, you know, Uber, just in other folks in the game, really, coming in, ride electric with their 100, passenger airplane. And you got, most of these are going to be obviously private jets or privately owned electric aircraft, but there aren't going to be, as I said, there aren't going to be for the greater population of planet Earth. So when it comes to battery improvements, I mean, different companies are like looking at different avenues here. Notably, Airbus has employed, I think, lithium sulfur batteries, something like that. And as you guys know, I highlighted time and time again that if you really want to look at the battery or the motor, you have to look at one of the four things. You have to look at the anode, the cathode, the separator, and the materials in which the overall motor is built out of, right? These are all the factors, the fundamental factors that you need to build a good battery system, right? So you're looking at how good the anode communicates with the cathode, how good the discharge, the discharge rate is, and the charging rate is. You have to look at things like that. You also have to look at, the materials science aspect of things, which is why some companies are going the nanostructure route, right? And some are going the more anode cathode, kind of like structure route. All of this is to improve the current energy density. Most EVs are sitting at about, the batteries that are sitting in most EV cars right now, it's about 285 watt hours per kilogram standard electric car battery energy density. Then we have electric aircraft, which, I mean, if we can get to about 1,000 watt hours per kilogram, that'd be really awesome. I mean, a 1,000 watt hour per kilogram battery energy density would be spectacular. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this video up here, and I'm gonna address some of the technical issues around electric vehicles into much greater detail on my next upcoming videos. But for now, let's call it a wrap. Do go check out that video on Tesla. I talked about a lot about issues around batteries, why some countries suffer in terms of paying for the final product just because of batteries. And frankly, I feel like this can be avoided. But for today, I'm wrapping the video up right here, folks. If you have not subscribed to the channel, our goal is to get to 100 subscribers by the end of the 31st of February 2022. Right, that's been it for me, folks. Until next time, I've been AVP.